Well, hello there, everybody. It's Grampa Scott, and I'm here for a story, aren't you? It could be a great adventure. I'm looking forward to it. Today's story is from the Walt Disney Collection, and the story is called Pinocchio. Have you ever heard of Pinocchio? Well, by the end of today, you'll know a lot more about Pinocchio and this great adventure. Let's get started, shall we? There was once a kind old man named Geppetto. He lived in a little house with his goldfish Cleo, his cat Figaro, and another friend, Jiminy Cricket, lived in the house too. Geppetto could make wonderful things out of wood. One day he made a puppet that looked just like a boy. He called the puppet Pinocchio. Well, there he is. How I wish Pinocchio was a real boy, he said. It would be fun to have a son. The good fairy heard Geppetto's wish. That night she came to his house. When everyone was sleeping, she touched Pinocchio with her wand. Suddenly the little wooden puppet came to life. Oh my! And what did Pinocchio do first? He tried to take Cleo out of the goldfish bowl. No, no, Pinocchio, cried Jiminy Cricket. Put the fish right back. Oh, a fish can't live outside its tank, can it? It needs to be in with water. The noise woke up Geppetto. He could not believe his eyes. There was his wooden puppet singing and dancing. Can you sing and dance? Grandpa really can't. The old man was so happy that he hugged Pinocchio. My son, he said, my own wooden son. Geppetto wanted to cook breakfast for Pinocchio, but there was nothing to eat. Let me go out and buy some food. Father, said Pinocchio. My, what a good boy you are, said Geppetto. The old man gave Pinocchio some money and a list of things to buy. Jiminy Cricket was not so sure that Pinocchio was a good boy. I will just follow him and see, he said to himself. So Jiminy Cricket was going to check him out, make sure he did the right thing. Pinocchio walked happily down the street. He smiled at everyone. Everyone smiled at him. It was fun to be out in the big world by himself. A boy named Lampwick was also out by himself. Lampwick was not a good boy. He told stories that were not true. Those are lies. He even stole things that weren't his. When Lampwick saw Pinocchio, he said, I bet I can trick that wooden head. Not a very nice guy. Hey, friend, said Lampwick. What do you have there? Money, said Pinocchio. I'm going to buy food. Why not buy candy, said Lampwick. It tastes better. No, no, Pinocchio, don't listen, called Jiminy Cricket. Pinocchio paid no attention. He followed Lampwick to the candy store, not the food store. Where did you get so much money? Asked the lady in the candy store. My father gave it to me, said Pinocchio. To buy candy? Asked the lady. Yes, to buy candy. It was not true. Suddenly, Pinocchio's nose started to grow longer. He told a lie, and his nose grew. He took his candy out of the store as fast as he could. Let me hold the bag, said Lampwick. It'll be safer with me. I'm bigger. Pinocchio held out the bag of candy. To his surprise, Lampwick grabbed it and ran away. That was the end of the candy. What happened? Asked Jimmy. Where's all your father's money? I lost it, said Pinocchio. Right away his nose grew longer. He lied again. He didn't lose it. You did not lose the money, said Jiminy. You used it for candy. Well, at least take what is left and buy a little food for Geppetto. As he walked toward home, Pinocchio held a bag of food in front of his face. He did not want anyone to see his long nose. A sly old fox and a thin, hungry cat were hiding by the bridge. Look at that little wooden head, said the hungry cat. He has a sack of food. They're up to no good, right? Hello, my fine lad, said the fox. You look like the sort of boy who might want to see a puppet show. A puppet show? Cried Pinocchio. Oh, yes, I certainly would. How do I get in? I have a ticket, said the fox. If you give us your food, I will give you my ticket. What is your sack? That is your sack of food, isn't it? "Oh, yes," said Pinocchio. Another lie. His new nose grew longer yet, but he didn't care. He had his ticket. A line of people were waiting to get in the puppet show. They got mad at Pinocchio when he bumped into them with his long nose. "Better not tell any more lies," said Jiminy Cricket. "You already have too much of a nose for a puppet your size." Wow, look at his nose. Isn't it getting bigger? Step up, called a man waiting at the ticket stand. Pinocchio stepped up and gave the man his ticket. "This is no ticket," said the man. "It's just a piece of paper. Go away, little boy, and take your long nose with you." Poor Pinocchio had no money, no food, no ticket, sat down in a box and began to cry. Just then a man peeked out of the tent. The man was Stromboli, the puppet master. My, said Stromboli, "a puppet without any strings. Can you do anything but cry, little puppet?" "I can dance and I can sing," said Pinocchio. "Show me," said Stromboli. Pinocchio danced, he sang, he turned cartwheels, he even stood on his head. Pinocchio was pretty talented. Then Stromboli showed his puppets to Pinocchio. He pulled their strings and the puppets kicked their feet. "Why, you don't need any strings," said Stromboli. "Come with us and you will be the star of our show." "Don't listen, Pinocchio, go home to Geppetto," said Jiminy. But Pinocchio did not want to go home. He wanted to be a star. The show started and Pinocchio began to dance. "Look, no strings," he called. Everyone cheered. But the other puppets had strings and Pinocchio's long nose got caught in the strings. He crashed to the floor and everyone laughed. Suddenly, Pinocchio was very unhappy. He did not like to have people laugh at him. "I'm not such a great star after all," he said. "I want to go home to Geppetto." Should have went there first and not all these adventures of bad things. "Oh no, you're not going home," said Stromboli. "You belong to me now. This bird cage will be your home, my little long-nosed friend." "Help!" called Pinocchio from inside the cage. "Let me out!" But the puppets could not help. They could not move unless someone pulled their strings. Jiminy could not help either. He was too small, but he could go get help. Good job, Jiminy, right? Jiminy ran quickly to Geppetto's house. "Geppetto," he called, "you must come save Pinocchio. Stromboli, the puppet master, put him in a cage." "My poor little Pinocchio in a cage," said Geppetto. The old man followed Jiminy down the dark street. He was carrying a lantern in one hand. They found Pinocchio in his cage in Stromboli's tent. "Don't worry, my son," said Geppetto. "I will help you." He opened the cage and lifted Pinocchio out. Suddenly, Stromboli came running. "Thief! Thief!" he cried. "That's my puppet!" "Run, Pinocchio!" shouted Geppetto. Pinocchio ran. Geppetto ran too. But the old man did not see the open trunk and he fell right into it. Crash! "Ah, now I have you," shouted Stromboli in a terrible voice. "I will save you, father," called Pinocchio. Quickly he went up the ladder to a place where the puppets were hanging. Pinocchio dropped the puppet strings and all onto Stromboli. The puppet master could not move. Geppetto was safe. Hooray! "My good, brave Pinocchio," said Geppetto, and he hugged his little son. Fast as he could, Geppetto, Pinocchio, and Jiminy ran off towards home. As soon as they were safe at home, Geppetto took a good look at Pinocchio. "What has happened to your nose?" he cried. "Tell him the truth now," said Jiminy. This time Pinocchio did tell the truth. He told Geppetto about everything just as it happened. While he talked, his nose got shorter and shorter. Finally, it was just the way Geppetto had made it. Never again Pinocchio decided he would tell another lie. That's great, isn't it? And that is the end of our story. But guys, I want you to remember, just like Pinocchio found out kind of the hard way, it's always best to tell the truth, no matter what, no matter how hard, no matter what happens to you, tell the truth. Well, guys, this is the end of this story, but the adventure is just beginning, because now's the time to go outside and have some fun because this Pinocchio book is all done.